before I start, I wanted to differentiate the movement of Impressionists and the post-Impressionists, because most of people confuse them. So here you have the French main Impressionist, Claude Monet, we're going to do him, Édouard Manet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Gustave Caillebotte, Pierre Degas, Sisley, Berthe Morisot, and Marie Cassatt. 2 women! Okay, so among all these female, all these male great masters, we do have 2 incredible women, Berthe Morisot and Marie Cassatt, who is American and French. And then the post-Impressionism are these people: Camille Pissarro, Paul Gauguin, Paul Cézanne, Henri Rousseau, Henri Toulouse-Lautrec, Henri Rousseau, Georges Seurat, Pierre Bonnard, and Paul Signac. So you have the real Impressionists we're doing today, and then the post-Impressionists. Okay, so here. Now, what happened before Impressionism? Before Impressionism was Realism, okay? So what did they do, the artists? They painted kings and nobles, showing off wealth and royalty. Here, what they did before Impressionists. So art before Impressionism was usually of kings and nobles. The person in the portrait would simply be standing in the picture with their family or by themselves. Art was used to show wealth and royalty. So the portrait would be filled with jewels and fine things. The paintings were never of much more and took a long time to paint, a long, long time. Wealthy nobles wanted the paintings to portray them in a beautiful way, the way they wanted, not the way the artist saw the picture. So, so now listen, things are going to change, because the history of humanity, the history is going to evolve. So art is a reflection of history, and it's also going to change. Okay, so now what was Impressionism in the 19th century? It was an art movement. Now, we, in art historian, we have to categorize the movements. And usually, don't take it too seriously, but take it seriously, but not too seriously. Because among the movements, it corresponds to a certain time in the history. Among them, there are people who were not really Impressionists. And there were people who were more realistic than Impressionists, okay? So that's why I want you to warn you about categorization. It is necessary for historians, but it is not all about the movement. So here, so what was the Impressionism characterized? It was composition, emphasis on accurate depiction of light in its changing qualities, ordinary subject matter, not kings and nobles anymore, but peasants and women working, inclusion of movement as a crucial element of human perception and experience, and unusual visual angles. So people, the vision of people is going to change. And so the result will be different, of course. So Impressionism originated with a group of Paris-based artists whose independent exhibition brought them to prominence during the 1870s and 1880s. The Impressionists faced harsh opposition from the conventional art community in France. The name of the style derives from the title of a Claude Monet work, Impression, which we are going to see. And this is how the word started, because of this picture of Claude Monet that was named Impression, Soleil Levant, Impression Sunrise. And it provoked the critic Louis Leroy to coin the term as a satirical review published in the Parisian newspaper Le Charivari. So the development of Impressionism in the visual art was soon followed by analogous styles in other media, that became known as Impressionist music. We have not just painting, we have impressionistic music and also literature. So it did develop. Okay, so Turner in England was, in my opinion, the first impressionist, and I'm going to go over it right now, here. Okay, will you please switch, make it a little bit darker? I want the people to enjoy the light. Can we switch off some light? Please, please. Because the people don't see the fusion of the different yellow and oranges. So Turner in England did this, and it's really impressionistic. Okay, so here's the Fighting Téméraire. He did a lot of paintings about boats and about also fires because of the red and the oranges and the magnificent yellows. Okay, can everybody see? We cannot have less light, please? No? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much. Okay, here. So now we're going to the first French impressionist, who is Claude Monet. So Claude Monet, here he is with his beard. He was born in 1840, died in 1926, and he was a founder of French Impressionist painting. He was the most consistent and prolific practitioner of the movement's philosophy of expressing one's perceptions before nature, especially applied to the plein air landscape painting. Plein air is a French expression. It means open, in nature, painting outside, not on a studio. When you are on a studio, it's inside, and you don't see the change of light. So what is important for French Impressionists is the light. Actually, the light is important for any form of art. Even for architecture, everything is about light. Light and dark. So the term Impressionist, as I already told you, is derived from the title of his painting, Soleil Levant, which we're going to exhibit. Monet's ambition of documenting the French countryside led him to adopt a method of painting the same scene many times in order to capture the changing of light and the passing of the season. So what he did, he went outside and he saw a stack of hay. And he saw it in the morning, because the light was different, at noon and at night. And each one is different. So now you see how Impressionism started. From 1883, Monet lived in Giverny. Who has been to Giverny? Wonderful, wonderful. Where he purchased a house and property, and he began a vast landscaping project which included lily ponds that would become the subject of his best-known works. In 1899, he began painting the water lilies, remember the water lilies, first in vertical views with a Japanese bridge as a central feature, and later in the series of large-scale paintings that was to occupy him continuously for the next 20 years of his life. So this is Claude Monet. So Claude Monet, and this is what gave the name Impressionism, is this painting. Do you see the colors? Isn't that incredible? It's Impression Sunrise. Look, everything is blurred. It's a fusion of colors, and you have a magnificent combination of cool color and warm color. The blues and the greens with the yellows and the oranges. And then you have a figure, but you know, it's just a sketch. It's like a sketch. Impressionism is sketching very fast. And so it was regarded as the greatest modern paintings of the 19th century. And this is how French Impressionism started. Isn't that incredible? Impression Sunrise. And of course, reflections of the sun, you know what I mean? Sunrise. And that's where the word Impressionism started. Okay, so this painting, which the critic Leroy used in the headline of his review, entitled The Exhibition of the Impression, was responsible for the world's most popular style of modern art. The leader of this so-called Impressionism was Claude Monet, whose lifelong quest was the mastery of plein-air painting rather than studio work to capture the momentary effects of sunlight. Okay, so we go little by little, but surely. Okay, next, sunrise. So it was done in Le Havre. Le Havre is a city on the Orange coast, and it has lots of ships, and it's beautiful there to inspire for sunrise, sunset, and the light and the reflection in the water. Okay, so here, now there is another painting that is famous to explain the Impressionism is Bain à la Grenouillère. So here people are on vacation, they're having fun, they're all dressed up, and there is a reflection of the water. So La Grenouillère is a boating and bathing resort on the Seine, not far from Paris. So here it is, you can see the reflection, you can see the brush strokes, you can see them, and you see the people here dressed up. You know, no leggings and no flip-flop. Okay, beautiful art. Beautiful. They went swimming in beautiful outfits. They did everything in beautiful outfits. And I want to tell you something. 5 years ago, I went to Paris, and there was an exhibit, a fantastic exhibit, on fashion among French Impressionists. And it is true. We're going to see it more and more, is that the clothing is part of the show. And the jewelry is part of the show. It's not like the nobles and the royals before, but it's different. It's the colors and the shape and the clothing. So what they did in Paris, they did an exhibit where there was a fashion show at the same time corresponding to the painting. Fashion show and painting. It was an amazing exhibit that I saw. Okay, so now this is another painting, and you see the mood, the impression. Everything is fused to give you an atmosphere, a sense of the light, what was going on there. And this is autumn on the Seine at the Argenteuil. Argenteuil is a district near Paris. But you see how incredible it is. But you can compare it to Turner also, and Turner started in England, being Impressionist without knowing it. Okay, so here. So now the haystacks. So these haystacks by Claude Monet, landscape, you see how he did it with the dark and light. Dark and light and dark and light. It's the dark and light that makes the volume of the art. It's the dark and light. When you see your hand here, there's light here and there's dark here. And if you put light and dark, it becomes voluminous, a volume. Otherwise, it's all flat. Okay, so, but look at this. Now, we're not among royals and nobles. And, you know, we are in nature. And what was important here is the way they portrayed nature. Here's a different haystack at Giverny. So this is the PowerPoint is very powerful. Look, because can go back. Here's one at a certain time, and here's one at another time, with the different colors, the different point of views, and now haystacks. So this is a series that he did, and it's about 25 paintings, and it represented all the haystacks at different moments with different lights. And they're all over the world in museums, and they cost millions and millions nowadays. But when these artists started, they were starving, completely starving. And somebody asked me, why were they starving at that moment? Because art was an elitist process, only an elite. It was the continuation of the monarchy and the aristocracy. Only an elite So also it had to be approved by an institution that is being criticized by Marie Cassatt, which is the Salon, the French Salon. If you are not accepted by the French Salon, you are dead. You are dead. Because that's the salon that helps you be promoted. And so the salon were part of these old people, you know, from the old school. They're fierce. They were fierce. And they said, well, by old I mean not in age, I mean in spirit. You can be 100 and be young. Okay, so now, what happened is that they refused everybody because, look, they looked at this art and they say, what is this? A child can do this. Well, you try to do it. It's not that easy. So, you know, so they were starving. They didn't have money to buy paints and canvases, and it took them a long time. You know, they started making money when they were dead. Okay, that's it. You had to die to be famous, and you had to die to be known. Okay, so here. So what did Claude Monet did? He did haystacks, and he did La Gare Saint-Lazare. I don't know if you went to Paris, La Gare Saint-Lazare, but it's amazing. It's all smoke. And it's a beautiful subject for the Impressionists. Smoke, water, reflection. Oh my gosh! Okay, so here is the Gare Saint-Lazare, and there was an exhibit on, just an exhibit on the haystack. Then there was another exhibit just on La Gare de Saint-Lazare, because he did it in so many different moods and lights. Okay, here. So he also did a series on Rouen Cathedral, and you're going to see this cathedral again with different lights here. And this is, okay, so he did this, and he did this like maybe 15 of it. But I'm not going to show it to you because it's a general overhaul of Impressionist. Next time, I can come and specialize in one artist. Okay, here, so he did also landscape. Look at these poplars. Look at the brush strokes. Look how everything is fused. There's no edges. It all goes one into the other one. Okay, here. Antibes in the morning, because these artists were starving for light. So they, like Van Gogh, they left the north and they went to the south, le midi de la France, where it was so sunny and so beautiful. Okay, here. Look at this one. This is Claude Monet, and it is the water lily ponds. You see? How fused. So you can imagine in the salon, when they brought this, they said, oh, goodbye, see you tomorrow. Okay, here. Okay, here. So now this is Claude Monet. They were very versatile, very creative, and not only they did haystacks and churches and railway stations, he also did still lives, and I love these still lives. Look, you want to eat the apple. You want to eat the pear. And the pear is not perfect. It has a few things here. Okay, okay, so, but look at the composition, it's triangular. Top here, composition is extremely important. Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, they did the triangle. The pyramid is a triangle. The triangle is an important form and important geometry in art history, the triangle. And also in love, the triangle, the French triangle, husband and wife and lover. Okay, so connecting, we're connecting. Okay, here. Now, this is another famous painting, I'm sure you know it, and this one is Claude Monet. It's in the Met in New York, but look at this. Again, you have three plans, foregrounds, middle grounds, and backgrounds. Look, the light is different. You have to have this lighter so it goes back. Okay, and then you have the boats here, and of course you have the flag. The French are not too much patriotic. They are patriotic in their heart, but they don't exhibit the flag. Very hard, very rarely. And now you have the costumes. Look at this, your costumes, and the hat and the umbrella. You have an umbrella to protect yourself from the light. The light is fundamental for the painting. But then you have here these people which are aristocratic. They are a higher class, really. And here you have the hat, and it's leisure. It's a feeling of leisure against the boat here, and the smoke, and the working boats here, so many of them. And you have these, and you have these horizontal, and you have the vertical. So what makes a painting beautiful? There is a rule of beauty. There is a rule of beauty. It all depends on lines, the vertical, the horizontal, the diagonal, and on oil, the paints, the color. So it's all about line and color. How you combine color. See, the red and also the blue. So here is a painting that is very famous, and I'm going to go a little bit faster because what happened at this moment of history is that the French discovered the Japanese. Oh my gosh. A guy, an artist, got a vase, China, in a newspaper. So he opened the newspaper and he said, oh my gosh, this is art. This is so different from what we were trained to appreciate. It's flat. It has no perspective. It's flat, it's beautiful. And so Claude Monet started collecting art. And also, they represented here La Japonaise, the Japanese woman here. This is his wife, actually. You know, they used their family because it was cheaper for models. Models were very expensive. Very expensive. So they used themselves and their wives, okay? Okay, so now, there's another problem with the models, is that they see the models naked all the time, they want to sleep with them. So the problem, so that's the problem. And so it's now here. So now you have the influence of Japanese on French Impressionism. I have a whole lecture just on that. But this is a general presentation. Okay, here's another painting by Claude Monet. And look at the fashion that I was talking about. Look at this fashion. They're having fun in long dress, in jewelry. You know what I mean? And so this is woman in the garden. Of course, these women, they are shown with white skin because they don't do anything. All day they stay inside and they sew. Oh, they read books. Okay, here. Oh, they play an instrument of music. Oh, okay, here. So now this is Camille Monet and a child in the artist's garden in Argenteuil. So this is Camille Monet and this is her child. You see the flowers here and you see the brush strokes of the clothing and they're sewing. They always show the woman sewing. It was a noble activity. Okay, so now we go to another artist, and I'm very sorry to go fast, but, you know, I have him, and he tells me, number 5, time. Okay, so, but I will come back, hopefully, and I will detail everything. This is Amen. A general overall. So, Edouard Manet was one of the first 19th century to paint modern life, and he was a pivotal figure in the transition from realism to impressionism. He was born in 1832, died in 1883. Quotes: there are no lines in nature, only areas of color, one against the other. Wow, now you understand. it is not enough to know your craft, you have to have feeling. Science is all very well, but for us, imagination is worth far. Okay, the artist, he has to have a magnificent imagination. He has to imagine what's going to be the end of his endeavor on the canvas. He's like a chef. A chef is good only when he has a fantastic palate and he can taste in his imagination the dish that is going to come out of his hand.
Shoot, nice example. Yes.
Is that true?
Well said.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a fantastic audience. I'm going on. Okay, here. So now we have Edouard Manet. Don't confuse Monet and Manet. Most of people confuse them. Because it's the same, Monet, Manet, Manet. Why did they keep that name? I would have changed my name. Okay, so now, he did this. Now, this is very famous, right? A naked woman on a picnic. The French love picnics. A naked woman with dressed man. She is more naked against a dressed man. He is more dressed against a naked woman. Okay? So that's the clue. That's the clue of doing this. Now, modern artists like Marcel Duchamp, he will make a painting with, he plays chess. So his wife will be naked and he will be dressed. Okay, so here it is. So they're talking. This woman is his main model. You see her everywhere, and this one is in Musée d'Orsay, Paris. You have been to Musée d'Orsay? It's fantastic. Okay, if you go back now, after this presentation, you're going to love it, because everything will talk to you. When you know, knowledge helps you talk to the object. Okay, so here it is. Now, this is called Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe. It's the luncheon on the grass, and originally it was titled The Bath. Why do they take a bath and toilette in the French Impressionists? You know why? Because they can show the woman naked. In the bath, in the toilet, she's naked. They do everything to show the naked woman. Okay, so here, so now listen, they take this to the salon and they say, oh, forget it. Naked woman? Okay, goodbye. See you tomorrow. But now, Napoleon came later and he said, we are tired of this salon. We're going to invent another salon. And you know what they invented? Le salon des refusés, the refused. So when you refuse in a salon, you can go to the salon of the refused. And you have more chance for that. Okay, are you having fun? Okay, can I continue? Can you give me 5 more minutes?
No.
No. Okay, so I go on. I go on. Here, naked woman. Okay, so here, we have no children here, right? So, okay. So now let's see. Olympia. That's the same woman that was in the other painting. Yeah, it's the same woman. And Olympia. Oh my gosh. Here, nude. She's ready to go. Okay. She's lying on a bed. And she's bringing brought flowers by a black servant. And this is in the Musée d'Orsay. Why is this? This is a historical painting because in the old days only history was accepted and Greco-Roman mythology was accepted. The rest was rubbish. Okay, so now this is kind of the man who was for her, sent her flowers with the servant. At that moment in Italy, and in France too, when you have, to be rich, you have to have a servant. Okay, now we have a lot of servants, but we don't name them servants. We name them something else. Okay, so now we go on with this Olympia. This is a very famous painting. it has been done by many, many artists. And now, Edouard Manet, his self-portrait. Okay, they love to paint themselves. Total narcissism. Okay, so here. Okay, here. So, and now this is Monsieur and Madame Auguste Manet, the parents. Look how severe looking they are. Okay, here. So, and then this is the Pfeiffer. It's very famous. It's Musée d'Orsay also. You see the Pfeiffer. So they showed theater, spectacles, harlequins, clowns, and actors, because it's nice to have a representation of acting and entertainment on your walls in a house and in a museum too. Here, so this is the balcony, and this is very famous because it was imitated a lot by people, and this is his sister-in-law. She married his brother. And she's also a fantastic painter, and we're going to talk about her. Okay, so yeah, and this is another very famous painting that came to the Getty Museum 2 years ago, and they did a whole show just about this. And they explained it to you. I cannot explain too much because I have to go fast. But I want to show you here, it's a reflection of this in here. She's bored to death, because she is the bartender and she has to prepare all this food and champagne, all this for the people who are here in the crowd. And as I told you, the Impressionists, they loved the reflections in the water, but also they loved mirrors. Mirror. Your eye is a mirror. We're voyeurs. Voyeur, all of us. And so here, so the mirror is a reflection of a scene, and that's why it is so important. So this painting has a lot to say. She's bored to death. They're having fun, but she's there to be standing and offer. What does she offer? Fruit, maybe cheeses here, and a lot of liquor. A lot of liquor. Okay, so we go on here. So this is Edouard Manet, and he's the Spanish singer. Now, Spain inspired a lot of French Impressionists because it was exotic. So they wanted to show clowns and harlequins like Picasso, but they wanted to show also musicians, and they wanted to show exotic characters, a lot of Spanish people. Okay? Okay, so here he is. Look at the composition, so beautiful. Look at his expression and the guitar. Okay, here. And then we have, again, now we have Edouard Manet, the boat. You see the boat. Look at these waves. Their action, they're very alive. And look at the composition, is magnificent because it has 3/4. Now, I'll give you a little clue for your photography. Never do something in the middle. Always 3/4 up, 3/4 down. The middle is bad. It's at the level of your eye. Okay, so that's photography and painting too. But look at this. He did 3/4, and then this is horizontal and the vertical. And there is movement. And it belongs to a private collection. They must be very rich, these people now. Okay, here. So now we went to Claude Monet, Edouard Manet, and now we go to Renoir. This is Renoir. So he was a French artist, a leading painter in the development of the style, and he wanted to celebrate beauty. So he didn't care. He said, I don't care. I don't want to represent all the defects of the woman. I want to beautify the woman. And he did. Beautification was a Greek phenomenon. So we are, in our Western civilization, influenced by the Greeks. and the Roman. Sometimes we forget it. Okay, so here, so he is going to celebrate, and you will see how he changes the forms to make them beautiful. So this is that Grenouillère that I showed you, and it's his Renoir presentation of this resort in Paris that's called La Grenouillère. The rich people did picnics, and they also did, they did boating in the water on a Sunday. That's what part of the rich people. Now, the poor people never were into the scene, the artistic scene. Later on, as democracy will be developed, the history of art will change. And then this is another painting that is extremely famous, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Le Bal du Moulin de la Galette. Here again, having fun. He wanted to show people having fun, okay? So here, you see all the people, look, the eyes, the hat, beautiful hat, they are having fun. And the women, and somehow, his women, they all look alike. Look at this, look at this. Yeah, they all look alike. Okay, because it's his imagination. Remember, every man has one point here. What is it? A woman. Okay, so we go on. I'm sorry, I'm French. I have to talk about this all the time. Okay, here. So now, Le Bal du Moulin de la Galette. So this is this painting. It's one of the most celebrated masterpieces. It's a typical Sunday afternoon in the district of Montmartre in Paris. And in the late 19th century, working class Parisians would dress up and spend time there dancing, drinking, and eating galette into the evening. Oh, okay, great. Okay, so now it's another Renoir painting which is extremely famous, the boating party again, and it shows all these people here talking to each other, having fun. You know, everything in movies and painting and art goes around the table. They're always eating in French cinema. They're always eating. And the most important thing is not what happens at the table, it's under the table. Okay, we go on. Yeah. So that's luncheon of the boating party. Okay, here, and then here. Now look at the women here. So here, they look alike all the time. They're voluminous, they're very voluptuous. Voluminous and voluptuous, they go together, okay. Okay, so here, and then he shows them now here. So this is in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Have you been to Philadelphia? I was impressed when I went to Philadelphia. It's an amazing city. Oh, I went to all the museums. And the most important experience for me from museum is Houston. You know, I went to Houston and I thought, I'm going to see guns, cowboys, and boots. Well, I saw 10 museums, 11 museums. Houston is one of the main artistic cities in America. I think it's the third. New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, and Philadelphia. Okay, here. So here's again. That's Renoir. You recognize him right away. Okay, how am I doing time-wise?
5 more minutes, 6 more minutes.
6 more women. Okay, so here. Okay, so this is La Loge, again, entertainment. And this is the woman, Renoir. This is flowers, the still lifes are beautiful. And this is the seashore portrait, okay. Like, this is very impressionistic because there's no edge and fusion of colors, stain of colors. Okay, here. So dance in the country, very romantic the French are. And now we're going to see another guy. So we saw 3 already. Now we saw Caillebotte. Caillebotte, he loved, it was the beginning of photography, of the camera, 1840. He discovered the photography. He became extremely realistic. So you see, we have a group of impressionists, but each one has a DNA. Each one has a different vision, different eye, and different fingers. Okay, so here, Caillebotte.
Wow.
This is very famous painting, okay, here. And then we're going to pass this. And this is very famous too. It's in Musée d'Orsay, and it's showing workmen making a floor. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful composition, beautiful art. Okay, here. And then this is Caillebotte, always the water and the boats, because the boats is the sails. The sails are beautiful lines, figures. It inspired them. This is a soldier, more realistic than everything we have seen so far. Okay, and this is the game, playing cards. Always, all the artists in France represented a card game, because it's also entertainment and fun. Okay, here, and this is the gardeners, Gustave Caillebotte. Okay, here, more realistic. And now Pierre Degas. So Pierre Degas was part of the group, and he did painting, sculpture, drawing, and he was interested in action. So he went to the opera and watched all the dancers, and he painted the dancers. And let's see him. He never got married. People think, gossipers, they think that he had an affair with Marie Cassatt, but I don't think so. They were just friends.
Sure.
Okay, here, but who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, so this is the Bellini family, a portrait that he did, very realistic, and then he did this, a woman seated beside a vase of flowers, beautiful, beautiful. And then he did the opera, like I told you, the opera, the singers, and the dancers that you know. You know. Okay, I invite you all this weekend to go to Norton Simon Museum. You'll see all of these people. Norton Simon, have you been there? Yes. You must go there many times. Okay, here. So this is the dancer again, the guy. Oh, look at that blue, the blue contrasting with the orange and the yellow, and the movement of the tutu. You know, that's tutu means the skirt that they wear here for the dancers. And here is an interesting image, and this is a cotton office in New Orleans, because Degas was involved in New Orleans. He had a cousin in New Orleans. So we came here, he painted this. A cotton office in New Orleans.
Would you like to answer questions from the group?
Yeah, okay, okay. So I'm going to go fast. Edgar Degas, woman ironing, okay, Degas, the dancer, sculpture, and then Eugène Baudin. We have Eugène Baudin. I just finished this. And then Baudin, Touville, okay, the beach. And then you have Frédéric Basile, which was part of the Impressionists. This is a very interesting studio painting. And then Family Reunion, Frédéric Basile. Alfred Sisley was American and French. Okay, he also did impressionistic paintings. And then Berthe Morisot. I love Berthe Morisot. She was a genius, but people put her down because she was a woman. Do you know that women could not go into the Académie des Beaux-Arts? They were forbidden to go. So they had to go to a mentor. And you know a mentor man, what it involves, you know, very risky. Okay, so here, this is Morisot. Morisot, what she did, of course she's a woman, so she's going to represent fertility and children. And Marie Cassatt, American and French, is Marie Cassatt. And she lived in France. The tea ceremony is beautiful. Here's the children at play. Children at play, and conclusion. Conclusion, I tip my hat to you, real geniuses. Claude Monet, Édouard Manet, Auguste Renoir, Gustave Caillebotte, Pierre Degas, Sisley, Berthe Morisot, and Marie Cassatt. I know, it was so good.